Do you have the file?
I'm sorry?
My case. They said they'd send the file over.
Did they? Oh, sure, it should be on its way then.
In the DPS office, they said they'd dispatch it immediately.
I'm afraid the Divine Prosecution Service is a law unto itself.
Will you be dealing with my case?
Huh? Oh, not necessarily. I mean, I shall be taking a close interest in it, assisting with it, insofar as my position allows. I'm only a junior, trainee. I'm a very fast learner, so they tell me.
What am I to be charged with?
The senior partner will be leading for you in court. She'll decide on what your plea should be after discussion with yourself, naturally.
Naturally. Did you say she?
Yeah, we're strictly non-discriminatory in these chambers. Can I take down your details, Mr. Iscariot? First name?
Judas. J-U...
Das. Your address?
No fixed abode, I suppose.
Yes. It would be. Age? Oh, irrelevant too, I assume.
I was a young man when I left, comparatively.
Like your victim, with a lot to live for.
When is the trial?
I really can't say. Is it important?
Time was very important to me once, in the past.
Your family was from Iscariot in Judah?
Hence the name.
Beg your pardon?
Iscariot. It means from Iscariot. It's a corruption by the people in the north who couldn't pronounce it properly. They were difficult to understand too.
Who were?
Northerners, the savages of Samaria, Galileans, ignorant fishermen, most of them. What's that supposed to mean?
You didn't get on very well with your colleagues then?
My job was to take care of the money, to see to the practical side of things. When the mission got underway, we needed more than fish to live on.
Shall I put you down as responsible for supplies?
Put down what you like. Only the master knew why he'd called each of us.
Why did he call you?
I thought it was because I was different from the others. The master seemed to respect knowledge and skill. He made you feel your own abilities were important to him. What have you written down for that part?
Nothing yet. I'll have to think about it.
Dangerous thing, thinking.
There's a message from the Supreme Court.
What does it say?
Whatever charge you decide on, proceed with proceedings without delay.
Delay?
Yes, without delay, immediately.
I'm well aware of what without delay means, my dear. The only delay in this office is the result of waiting for the Supreme Court to make up its mind. And now it hasn't.
Hasn't what?
Made up its mind on the charge.
The list is in the file.
Give it to me.
You have it there, under those papers somewhere.
Ah, yes, here it is. Remind me to talk to you sometime about efficient filing and the importance of a clear desk.
Do you want it kept under Iscariot or Judas?
Oh, later. Now, what have we got?
The principal criminal offence appears to be appropriation of the mission's funds.
Evidence is mostly circumstantial. The sentence will be slight in Supreme Court terms. I don't know which is more important, a quick result or a heavy penalty.
My friend in the defence office says that they're getting impatient over the delay too. He says it's all our fault.
Ah, your friend in the defence office. Have you seen him recently?
We run into each other from time to time.
Is he well?
I think so. He'd like things settled as soon as possible.
So would we all. Have a word with him, if you happen to run into him, and try and find out what the defendant's weak points might be.
I can't betray my friend's confidence.
Of course not, my dear, but you don't need me to remind you who you work for.
I don't think we've been introduced.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm your client, I believe. Is that the word?
Oh, I do apologise. Do take a seat. Yes, I shall be acting on your behalf.
Whenever the trial takes place.
Well, at the moment, we think there is no case to answer.
What is the charge against me?
Well, for the time being, there is no case.
For the time being. Time being important?
Well, it certainly seems to be to the prosecution, and I'm sure we shall hear from them pretty soon.
If there is no case, how can you defend me?
We've received our instructions. Carrying them out will be a professional challenge.
What are the possibilities?
Well, you could be charged as a thief.
What am I alleged to have stolen? My own life?
I don't think the prosecution will go that far.
How far will they go?
Well, now, your successor as mission treasurer has stated that there was nothing left in the funds when he took over.
Matthias said that, did he? All the money that we had was spent on that meal. The master always told us, take no thought for the morrow. But he called on me to do just that.
You didn't like extravagance.
I don't like waste of money, time, or anything.
Well, why did you spend all the funds then?
Because we have been promised a large contribution from a rich man from Arimathea. And also because the master said the meal would be remembered by those present for the rest of their lives and beyond.
You didn't spend any of the funds on yourself?
We all, including me, needed food for the journey to Jerusalem. I had to settle with the donkey owner over the animal for the procession into the city. The owner of the upper room had to be paid. There was the food and the wine, as well as the supply of water for foot washing.
And before that?
Look, if I'd wanted to be a rich man, I could have scrabbled round on the floor of the temple when the master overturned the money changers' tables. Coins were rolling all over the place. Some priests were seriously injured in the crush. The doctors had to deal with a lot of crushed fingers that day.
But not including yours.
I didn't stoop to pick up a single token, the pieces of silver as they called them. The master was magnificent, powerful, passionate.
Decisive?
Oh, certainly. I wish he'd acted like that on other occasions.
But you did receive some pieces of silver later, I believe.
The high priests said they would reward me if I showed them where the master was going to be that night.
You wanted the money?
I thought we'd need it, if the man from Arimathea didn't turn up with his contribution.
But the high priests paid you.
In temple tokens, tied up with a Peter cloth. They were worth absolutely nothing, unless you wanted a couple of doves to offer in the temple.
So that's why you flung the coins back in their faces.
They'd won. They had everything they wanted.
And you had nothing.
I had wasted my life.
You're telling me that you can find no evidence of the Iscariot man using a single coin of the mission's funds for his own ends?
That's correct.
What do I pay you for?
You don't.
They travelled about all over the place. They must have been given contributions in all sorts of currencies.
Some of the Roman army officers were grateful to the master for one reason or another and could be quite generous, but the defendants sometimes had difficulty in using their money to buy food and supplies. Matthew Levi had contacts for changing it.
But our friend did not take any cut from the transaction?
Apparently not. And when they were given contributions in kind, he always shared things out equally. He didn't take an extra crumb of bread or mouthful of fish for himself, it seems.
Fish wasn't in short supply for the Galileans, I imagine.
Most of the time it wasn't.
How do you know this?
I've spoken to most of the 12, the new 12 that is. Although they didn't exactly like Judas and he didn't always trust them, they agree that he was scrupulously honest.
That's a pity, from the point of view of bringing a case against him.
At one point, the master sent them all out into the surrounding villages to fend for themselves.
Including our friend?
He had a hard time of it.
Why?
He sounded different from the local people, more so than most of the others.
They travelled without food and with only the clothes they stood up in. What was the object of that?
It was an opportunity for people to be generous to them.
When they were living below subsistence level themselves?
It would appear so.
When the 12 were travelling around the countryside, where was the master? Did the treasurer take the mission funds with him or leave it behind?
In a safe hiding place somewhere.
I suppose so.
The master went into the wilderness to his usual place of retreat. Before they all dispersed, Judas showed him the money he had. He wrapped it in a cloth and sealed it and took it with him.
Was it all there when he came back?
I have been reliably informed that it was.
You're beginning to sound like a lawyer.
Is that a compliment or not?
I'm not in a position to offer an opinion.
I must remember that one.
After all your effort, we know nothing whatsoever other than that Judas Iscariot was simply a high-minded, idealistic young man.
I'm afraid so. I'm very sorry.
It's not your fault.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not going to say it again.
So we have no case.
We do not have a case of theft or misappropriation of funds, if you would prefer.
I'm not in a position to offer an opinion.
But other lines of inquiry will open up. Soon, I hope.
You're disappointed.
What do you mean?
To be charged with the mere crime of theft. Maybe you were expecting something grander, maybe more epic.
What are you getting at?
Well, petty pilfering is what the lower orders get up to, isn't it? Not your style at all. You were trying to change the world.
Do I know you?
Our paths have crossed in the past.
The past doesn't mean anything here.
The important thing now is whether you have a future.
Why is that of interest to you?
Well, when the verdict is reached, we hope to be able to offer you very favourable terms. Favourable to us anyway.
You came to me when I had a difficult decision to make.
That's what we were there for.
I couldn't talk to the other 11 about it.
You don't have to go than that.
I don't include young Matthias, the usurper. They made him an apostle, then he accused me of theft.
It rankles, does it?
Well,
You did create the vacancy.
that's all in the past. Oh yes, I know what I said.
You don't deserve to slip unnoticed into oblivion. A man of your abilities deserves greater recognition. My instructions are to ensure that something more significant than petty theft is involved.
Who gives you your instructions?
All you need to know is that we are working on your behalf.
I have my defence lawyer.
Our mission is to see that you and your fate are remembered throughout history.
Remembered as what?
He usually gets very angry. She.
With you?
With everyone. The others try to keep out of her way, so I have to bear the brunt.
These things are sent to try us.
Very funny. It's the pressure she's under, poor dear.
Poor dear? The chief prosecutor's a poor dear?
This Iscariot case is getting her down.
It's not doing us much good either.
She's been left to take all the decisions.
It's called taking responsibility. If she was paid, that would be what she'd be paid for.
But then I have to chase around and find information. But this time I couldn't find anything that would help her case at all.
I'm glad to hear it, professionally speaking.
But then she was so nice to me about it. It was most unnerving.
It's a bit worrying.
I don't know what to do for the best for our case.
Is that why you wanted to talk to me?
Of course not. I wanted to see you. Yes and no.
The prosecution does not have sufficient evidence that Judas Iscariot was a thief. Is that correct?
As far as we know, no case.
We'll both be out of a job.
They'll have to keep us occupied while we're here.
Why are you here?
I'm here to see you.
I mean, never mind. If there's no case, things should be easier for both our bosses and for us.
My boss has got to find something to accuse the man of. If it isn't theft, it must be some other sort of misdeed. Something more serious than a mere crime, probably.
If you're looking for misdeeds...
Yes?
Try the temple authorities. Plenty of devilish goings on there, I reckon.
What sort of goings on?
Well...
Here, now!
I must go.
See you.
Oh, there you are, my dear.
Excuse me. I'm sure I can do that. I'm looking for the Reverend Caiaphas.
They were a shady bunch of characters. Matthew, the taxman, could hardly add up. But he always knew how much his cut of the takings was going to be. He had sensitive teeth.
Teeth?
One bite into a single coin told him the proportion of metal to dross. He had a few stories about the lies people told over their income.
Nothing changes then. 2 of the appointed ones were called Simon, like your father.
God rest his soul. Simon the Zealot was a crazy man. He wanted instant independence from the occupying forces. Like all of us, I suppose. Like me, certainly.
Some people saw the 2 of you as the danger men of the group.
Dagger men. Dagger man, that's what they thought Iscariot meant. Scarface, if you like. Though it fitted the Zealot more than it did me.
He had a scar.
Oh, a splendid one. Down one side of his face. He used to scare people stiff, especially when he was trying to be nice to them.
And the other Simon?
The big man. Solid as a rock. That's what the master called him. The Rock. Obstinate too. Immovable sometimes.
When you argued with him?
When I tried to put a reasonable point to him concerning income and expenditure.
It was brain against brawn?
He had big fists and muscles in his arms, pulling in those nets full of fish, I suppose. His brother was more wiry, though.
Andrew?
He was a much more sensitive character. I think the master wanted the 2 of them together, the Rock for his strength and Andrew to restrain him sometimes from doing too much damage.
And James and John were brothers too?
Each trying to outdo the other. They had to work together in their father's boat, but in the mission, they both wanted to be the master's favourite. They didn't take kindly to reasoned arguments either.
Home truths from you?
Common sense, I thought. Not so common with some people.
And you had a namesake too, another Judas.
He had to put up with being called not Iscariot all the time. He became a saint like all the rest. He was called Saint Jude, so as not to be confused with me. There are no churches dedicated to Saint Judas Iscariot.
Doesn't anybody pray to you?
Oh, probably not.
Oh, there are a few. I'm not sure about their motives, though.
Well, now, the master was popular with the ladies.
If you can call them that. No, that's not fair.
There were the sisters of Lazarus.
Well, he had brought their brother back from death's door, so to speak. So they had reason to be grateful to him, I suppose. On one occasion, Martha was busying herself in the kitchen, as was quite right and proper. But the other sister, called Mary, sat with the men, not lifting a finger. Yet she was the one the master praised.
Women adored him, you could say.
You could.
And Mary from Magdala was with him a lot?
One time, we were going to have a meal together, and she suddenly got down on her knees with this pot of expensive ointment and smeared it all over his feet, wiping it with her hair. I found it most distasteful. I could have sold the pot for quite a good price. The master seemed to enjoy the experience, but it was not at all the sort of way for an unmarried rabbi to behave, in my view.
The prosecution will emphasize your disapproval of his behavior.
Let them.
The whole gang of them were clearly out to disrupt all forms of law and order. They were a threat to the community.
The Roman authorities wouldn't like it.
Well, I take no authority from the Romans, but as spiritual leader of the Jewish nation, a high priest must maintain order in the temple, particularly at the time of major festivals. The crackpot had to be stopped.
He said he was king of the Jews.
Well, his followers said it. The Passover pilgrims started to say it. Mind you, he wasn't first. We got them every year.
What was different this time?
My spies recognised one of them. He looked a bit of a bruiser.
Yeah, Simon Salertes?
Well, the zealots were a spent force, really. The soldiers had dealt with them, but this lot from Galilee were different and more dangerous because of it.
What do you mean?
Well, they all seemed so lost in the big city that people started to feel sorry for them. Their leader had a common name,
Jesus.
Thank you, my dear.
Jesus. He rode along the streets on that ridiculous pup animal, and people waved branches of palm about as if it was some triumphal procession.
Did you think he was going to cause trouble?
Well, not to start with.
Why did you take more notice of this one?
Well, it turned out that the man on the donkey, who didn't look as if he could throw a brick into a puddle, was the one who had caused all that commotion in the temple.
Tell me about it.
Business was going on as usual. The changers were carrying out their law-abiding work. My officials were going around checking the commission figures.
As usual?
When this
Jesus.
began ranting about a den of thieves or something, I don't know what he was on about, but he started to push the tables over. The changers were in despair. There were coins and tokens all over the place.
Terrible.
Fortunately, my officials have the commission money safe in their purses. They are well trained, I tell you.
Of course.
We had to put a stop to what this fellow was up to. I could have called the army in then, I suppose, but I thought it wiser in the circumstances to have him thrown off the premises and warned not to come back.
Was Judas Iscariot there at the time?
Oh, all the master's hangers-on were there somewhere, I think.
What happened to the master?
He disappeared for a couple of days, and then this man Iscariot turned up at the temple and demanded to see me rather than my assistants.
You were the new high priest.
Exactly.
Your marriage to the daughter of Annas, your predecessor, had paid off.
My dear,
That's uncalled for.
did Judas Iscariot claim that Jesus of Nazareth was the Messiah?
He suggested that others believed it and that people would expect something to happen at the time of the festival. You wouldn't want things to get out of hand, would you? He said to me. He was playing some sort of game, but I didn't know what.
Did you personally entertain the possibility that Jesus of Nazareth might in truth be the long-awaited Messiah of the Jewish people?
Well, what is true? That was the most sensible thing this word of the Roman governor said at the time.
Does truth concern you as high priest?
It doesn't come into the equation. Order and control have always been my guiding principles.
Playing a game is not something we can charge the man Judas with in the Supreme Court.
He seemed to want the army to confront his master at night, but in a public place. That happened, although it didn't work out quite as expected.
What was he hoping for?
Well, I think he thought his master would do one of his famous miracles. The soldiers would all fall to the ground and the master would be a hero, the Messiah.
Did he intend to betray the master?
I don't think he did intend to, but he did, of course.
But it was not his fault.
No, it wasn't.
I wish you hadn't said that.
It's wonderful. They can't find a crime to stick on him. And after all the time he's been here, he'll have to be released immediately if the verdict was given.
Ah, released to where?
I don't know. You're the expert in the law. I'm still learning.
Learning is a lifelong experience.
Even longer in some cases. They need a good full-blooded condemnation of some sort.
Do you mean damnation rather than condemnation?
I don't know, do I?
Well, whatever they come up with, our job would be to defend him, to prevent the condemnation or damnation from taking place.
If we were successful, what would happen to him then?
I don't know. I'm learning too, you know.
So, we wait for the prosecution to make the next move.
Oh, we most certainly do not.
That way lie ruin and disaster.
I'm glad you remember my tutorials.
Yes, every word. Retaliation first.
Is defence's strongest weapon. Go to the top of the class.
Wherever that might be.
Did the defendant have any influential friends we can call on?
None that I can think of. Or any friends at all, for that matter.
Oh,
Oh, apart from the master.
well, we can't call him as a defence witness.
Why not, for heaven's sake?
For heaven's sake, because he is one of the judges of the Supreme Court.
Ah, look at that.
The very reverend, if you don't mind.
That won't do. The organisation was illegal, subversive, voluntary.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that, my dear, is that this apostle Judas from Judah chose to belong to the gang. He claims to have been called to follow the,
Master?
or appointed, he would say. Apostle means appointed.
I know. I looked the word up for you.
But he was not conscripted, forced, press-ganged. In any case, this motley crew could not be called an army in any meaningful sense.
The high priest said that they might be a danger to the authorities.
A danger to his way of life, more like. Judas Iscariot was doing the temple authorities a service.
Until he flung their money back at them and hanged himself.
Would they care about that? You may not have got very far with your legal training course, but the death penalty as punishment for suicide preposition simply...
Will not stand up in court, I know.
The Supreme Court represents the forces of religion in all places and at all times. Our judges are on the side of the priesthood. Remember that.
Was the defendant a traitor to the Roman occupying forces?
Hardly.
The Roman governor thought the master, so called, had committed no crime.
He was badly advised, possibly.
The defendant could be said to have wasted army's time.
Wasting anyone's time is not the same as betrayal.
Was he a traitor against the Jewish people?
How could that be, my dear?
Judas Iscariot said that he was fighting for the freedom of the Jewish people from oppression and occupation, He wanted the master to declare himself as the Messiah, the King of the Jews. The evidence was written on the gibbet.
Pontius Pilate had poor taste.
Judas Iscariot betrayed his king.
It's a thought. Perhaps you have advanced further with your training course than I had supposed. The question is,
Yes?
does the Supreme Court recognise the Master as being King of the Jews de facto at the time?
Should I ask the Supreme Court for its official view?
I am not in a position to offer an opinion.
My son-in-law speaks before he thinks. That has always been his problem. He thought the Galileans and their leader were going to be trouble, so something had to be done. If he had bided his time,
What would have happened?
nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Caiaphas liked giving orders. If the Jews had had their own army rather than relying on the Roman task force, my son-in-law would have been better off as a soldier. He would most probably have married the general's daughter.
And there wouldn't have been any disturbance at that time.
In Passover week? No. It was only Caiaphas's attempt to control things that caused all the rushing about and violence. The soldiers didn't want to turn out. The usual thugs wanted to carry on drinking at that time of night. Pulling them out of the taverns was foolish, playing into the Romans' hands.
In what way?
Well, the situation needed a firm hand, which was clearly not going to come from the temple or Herod Antipas and his cronies.
Could our defence be that Judas was misled in some way?
Well, it depends on the charge, which we still don't know.
The prophecy would have come true anyway.
What prophecy?
All the great preachers of our race and religion have said at one time or another that the Son of Man, or however they referred to him, would be reviled and attacked when he came. Someone would betray him.
So our defendant was predestined to do what he did. That's a defence, isn't it?
You are in the other man with your concerns for the moment.
And why not?
Prophets too are concerned with the moment. They do not predict.
I thought they looked into the future.
Prophets draw attention to the strengths and weaknesses of society and of individuals. They observe that when, if the Son of God appears in the temporal world, it is in the nature of human beings to abuse and betray him.
And none of the prophets said when this would happen.
Or that the traitor would be called Judas.
So no prophet predicted that the incarnate Son of God would have the name of Jesus of Nazareth.
In the view of myself and my colleagues, at the time in question, the long-awaited Messiah had not yet appeared. The Master himself thought the world he lived in would end very soon. I'm reliably informed he's still there.
Jesus from Nazareth was not the Messiah. Judas betrayed a man.
Which means,
Supreme Court's jurisdiction does not apply.
and the prosecution has no case.
Again.
I leave you to sort this out in your own minds, if you can. I think my master will be pleased with the confusion I've caused. Nothing helps our strategy more than lots of people all trying to do the right thing at the same time. The thing is, they need us up now. My master was thrown
a traitor. You betrayed your master.
My client may be a traitor,
You're supposed to be defending me.
She knows what she's doing.
but he did not betray the master.
Who did he betray then?
His friends.
I didn't have any friends.
We submit that the defendant betrayed to the authorities his fellow members of the mission, those appointed by the master. Without a leader, they were afraid of what the mob would do to them. The actions of this man drew attention to their existence. They tried to hide or to escape,
Therefore, he is guilty of betrayal.
not of the master. It was necessary to reveal the others in order to carry out his master's wishes.
His master wished to die. Is that what you are saying?
The master had to die. The prophets foretold it. Judas Iscariot enabled the prophecy to be fulfilled at this time.
The prophets are the guilty parties, are they?
It was the will of God. I had to let it happen. I had to make it happen.
He is condemned from his own mouth.
He is not condemned for the offence with which you have charged him.
You, Judas Iscariot, on the night in question, led the forces of law and order
That rabble.
to find in the place known as Gethsemane the man you called the master. He was arrested and taken away to stand trial.
The trial was a travesty.
The master was arrested as a result of the accused actions. Do we agree on that?
We do.
There.
This, however, was not betrayal on the part of the defendant. Witnesses have already established that, according to Holy Scripture, when he came into the temporal world, the Son of God would be given up and handed over to the authorities.
As a result of the accused actions.
That depends.
Depends on what?
It depends on this court accepting that the man, Jesus of Nazareth, was one and the same as the Son of God.
Do you expect this Supreme Court to have any doubt about that matter?
For the purpose of this case, it matters whether the defendant thought at the time that Jesus of Nazareth was the Son of God.
No.
Please address the court.
He was the Messiah.
Are they not one and the same?
They probably are. He probably is. It's for the court to establish the fact.
This is preposterous.
When the master called me to follow him, I was lonely. He seemed an attractive figure. He was a nonconformist, a rebel. My education had given me expectations, but they had not been fulfilled. I was trained to calculate, to find correct answers to every question.
Is this relevant?
I thought my ability to handle money would make me a wealthy man.
Ah,
At the very least, I'd have no worries about living in comfort. But I was a Jew.
But
Jews throughout history have constantly been on the move. There's always been a better life beyond the horizon. Their leader at the time would take them there. Moses, Joshua.
Jesus?
For a short time, I thought it might be myself.
yes, even better.
what are you saying?
Oh, it didn't last long. But the time was right. The people of Judah were oppressed, divided into factions, their land occupied by enemy forces. There had to be change soon.
How did you picture the Messiah in your own mind?
When I was a child, I saw him as a hero, winning every battle, strong and brave, a warrior.
Who killed people with a flaming sword?
I suppose so.
This is not exactly the popular image of Jesus of Nazareth.
The master was strong and certainly brave, although we did not know it then.
So you immediately knew that the house builder from Galilee would lead the Jewish people out of slavery and into freedom?
I followed the call of the man Jesus because I had nothing else.
What about the others?
When I discovered that many of them were Galileans, I was in despair. We had nothing in common. I couldn't talk to them.
You could talk to the master.
His family came from Judah, on his father's side.
His father?
Not relevant now.
Wherever the master was, he was always bigger than those around him. He was a natural leader, as they say.
Did you expect your Messiah to be a natural leader?
I suppose not. I followed the master because he was the master.
Who claimed to be the Messiah?
No, he didn't claim to be anything. People without education called him rabbi because he knew more than they did, and he accepted it. But Simon the Rock suddenly called him the Christ. I felt sorry for him.
The master or Simon?
Or both. The master, because he was struggling to put his thoughts about his purpose in life into human words, and I felt embarrassed for the Rock. He wasn't a man to be emotional about anything, apart from fish.
If the defendant regarded Jesus of Nazareth as a man, however strong and brave, he is in danger of wasting this court's time.
Our point exactly.
He was the Messiah. The Rock was right, although I didn't want to admit it. I became convinced of that.
When? How? Why?
He had power over people. They flocked to him. He persuaded them that they were cured of their sicknesses. He could raise them from the dead. He could forgive their sins.
He was a showman, a confidence trickster.
To start with, I thought the same as you. But where did the wine come from? How did he obtain all the food for the crowds of people? I couldn't account for it. That worried me.
You didn't want to believe in miracles.
For each of those people, it was reality. They had food in their hands. They could walk. They could dance. They were free. He was doing what the scriptures said the Messiah would do.
What do you mean by that?
He freed us all from our preconceptions and our prejudices. When he sent us out into the villages, I didn't think we'd survive. But the people of the villages looked after us. It was invigorating. It was shaming. I was ashamed.
Don't try to make people feel sorry for you.
He could perceive truths beyond time. But he was in time. His days were numbered.
He was a young man.
Moses was young when he set out from Egypt, but he did not reach the promised land.
You were counting time as well as money?
I was impatient for the master to declare himself. When he said that we should go up to Jerusalem, I was overjoyed. We were going to share his moment of glory, as I saw it.
It didn't work out like that.
No, it didn't. I think that's when I started to abandon him. I wanted him to enter the capital in triumph, so that we could proclaim that the time of salvation had arrived, there and then. I could have organised a huge triumphal procession of all the rich people he'd helped. But he told me to find a donkey.
And this made you...
Annoyed, frustrated. I felt that the people of Judah deserved something better from their long-awaited king. I was determined that something magnificent should happen.
Such as?
When we were in the north, the crowds had turned up in their thousands. Most of them could hardly see him, let alone know what he was doing, or hear what he was saying. But news of a word or a gesture spread in seconds. This needed to happen in Jerusalem too.
But you didn't convince him.
He kept on saying that his time had not yet come. If that was so, what were we doing there in the capital? I wasn't going to wait any longer. I wasn't prepared to wait.
Why was this?
The Jewish people were longing for the Messiah. He was there in the midst of them. The miracle of all miracles had happened, and they didn't know. That was why we'd come to Jerusalem at the time of the Passover. That was why I'd given up a life of comfort to achieve what all Jewry throughout the ages had longed for. I had to do it. here in Jerusalem now.
You were driven to it?
A voice told me to do it, to go to the high priest.
Whose voice was this?
My own inner voice.
It was said that you were possessed by the devil.
I don't think so.
Your counsel has suggested that the charge before us does not apply because the man you disclose was in your eyes the Jewish Messiah and not the Son of God.
That is so.
Others of the Master's followers were betrayed when the incident drew attention to their presence also in the city.
Yes.
But I know now that the Master is the Son of God also.
Wait.
He knew what I'd done, seeing the high priest. He knew what I was thinking, better than I did myself.
A mind reader?
No, he knew me. And he accepted through me that the time had come for the Son of God and Son of all mankind, not just the Messiah of the Jews, to declare himself. Not in the trivial, sensational way that I'd planned. He had to go through hell first. Since being in this place, I've had time to think.
What about?
About the Master. About myself. I was clever, but he was wise.
Perhaps you should explain the difference.
If I were a fisherman, I'd want to know the precise number of every sort of fish in the net. I could count everything, add everything up. This mattered to the Master only if it mattered to you. For him there was more beyond, in ways that our words could not express. But he needed to be given a time when the eternal could break through into the finite. That was my role.
When the Master first met you, did he know what you were going to do?
Probably not.
He was in the dark too.
Or about a lot of things. He didn't read the prophecies until later.
But he was the Son of God. He had supernatural powers.
But only human strength to bear them. He called me to serve him in some way, which I did.
You take full responsibility for your actions.
Don't answer that. We wish to call another witness.
No objection.
Call Simon the Rock.
Uh-oh, this is tricky.
This witness is unable to attend the court.
At least not for the defence.
I wish to submit a statement made by the absent witness,
Objection.
who maintains that the Master told those at the final meal that he would be betrayed by the one who dipped his bread first in the bowl with him.
I didn't hear him say that.
The one who was closest to him, called John, says so.
The Master told me that it was time to go and do what I was going to do.
Do what you had to do.
What I had decided to do.
The Master talked of you as the son of perdition. And was it so?
He didn't say it to me.
We have it on a reliable authority. He knew that you had no choice.
The defendant has no responsibility for his actions. That is our case for his defence.
Another throw of the dice is called for.
The fisherman, Simon, known as the Rock, is prepared to appear for the prosecution.
Objection.
We were followers of the Master. We went wherever he went, leaving wives and families behind when he told us to.
You were obeying orders.
We did whatever it was because we wanted to. The one who asked questions was Judas of Iscariot.
And Thomas, and James, and John.
From time to time, but we were all loyal to the Master. We believed he was the Messiah, the Christ, the King of the Jews.
The Son of God?
All of those things. He would declare himself when the time was right.
The Lord knew that the time had come. That was why we had the meal. Why he took the bread and the wine.
Judas brought the army to him.
Hooligans mostly. The soldiers weren't ready when the Master told me to go out.
But you went ahead with your plan.
The rest of us followed the Master loyally to Gethsemane.
Loyally?
We saw our dear Lord heal the man whose ear was sliced off after Judas of Iscariot had given the Master a kiss.
And the Master had embraced me.
Embraced?
All his strength drained out of him into me.
Into you? Are you claiming?
Healing the man's ear was a last shot for the Master. He was incapable of doing anything after that. He could hardly walk.
And you?
Had the weight of the world bearing down on me. I was terrified.
That's why you killed yourself?
It's the reason I'm here, I suppose.
As a consequence of your act of betrayal?
The result of your being disloyal.
I was loyal to the Master to the end. Let the court remember that I never denied our Lord to anyone at any time.
I served the Lord after he left us to the end of my life.
And gave your own life for him. Yes, that is so.
The witness may stand down. And now you want to share in the glory.
I denied myself the right to that. I saw him taken away and humiliated. I knew that he'd be beaten and executed in great agony, which the others were condemned to watch. I escaped.
By hanging yourself in the potter's field.
There could be no glory for me, or liberation for the Jews. After his death, the Master appeared to many more people than in the short time he was alive on our terms. He appeared to Saul of Tarsus, who had all the knowledge that I did, with much more conviction. He and the rock took the Master to the world, where he is the Christ, the Son of God. My miserable attempt to foist the title of Messiah on him and make the Jewish people accept him as king was a dismal failure.
He has never appeared to you since?
Neither in this world nor here. Yet I've been privileged beyond all that I might have expected or deserved.
The prosecution wants you to pay dearly for the privilege.
I'm ready for that.
You don't know the price yet.
For a reason that I have no right to understand, I was chosen to be there when the Master needed me.
The case against you is that you betrayed him. You fulfilled the prophecies by betraying him.
I enabled him to fulfill the prophecy that he would be killed and would rise again, at that time and in that place, in my lifetime.
Which was cut short.
As was his. There was nothing left for me to live for.
Do you regret it?
Not anymore, now that I understand.
What do you understand?
That if I had not done what I did, there would have been no resurrection, no ascent to glory by the Son of the one true God.
If you had not done what you did, millions of people might not have slaughtered each other in the name of their risen Lord.
It's the decision of the Supreme Court.
What did it say?
inviting us to come yet again. I don't know how many times we've been here, it's lots, and I hope that some of you have been to lots of our plays that we've done on this Maundy Thursday. We've actually been doing them for 20 years. And they're always very meaty, these plays that we do. There's a lot to think about, I think. And even though we think we know the story of Easter so well, there's always something new to learn. There's always something new for something to think about that we haven't thought about before. And we've been thinking about the character of Judas this time. On your handout, I don't know if you've written it, we've seen what I've written, is the thoughts of the author, some of the things that he wanted to put across, some of the questions he wanted to ask. Now, we're going to sing a couple of songs in a minute because we always finish up with some songs. But I wonder if any of you want to say anything now about something that you have either made a point with you about this story of Judas, something that may have offended you, something that really resonated with you. I hope you at least all go home and think very carefully about some of the things you've heard. But anybody want to say anything now? Your chance, you don't have to. No? Nothing that you thought of? So, yep. Okay, so anyway, I do hope that you've enjoyed it and it will mean something to you, something for you to think about. Sorry, yes.
Should we just do the one?
Which one should we do?
Power of the Cross, yes. Because otherwise we're singing this one twice.
Don't sing it twice, Steve. Right, so we're going to sing the Power of the Cross, which you may not know. I don't know if you do, but we'll have a go.